Hey everyone, my name's Caleb and I'm here to share a picture book story with you. So I have a book here with me. It's called Adventures of Onyx, and it's actually part of a series. So this one is the first one, and it's called The Guardians of the Strait. So it's about a stray dog that ends up on a Coast Guard boat in the middle of, as the boat is getting ready to head out to do a rescue mission, and you'll find out what happens with the dog. And I actually have Onyx right here with me. See, she's a Coast Guard dog, so I have her with me, so she's gonna sit and listen as well. She'll be here in the corner. So, alrighty, let's get started. So, I'll read you the dedication first because it's important. So this book is dedicated to my daughters, not my daughters, the authors, Tyler Benson. So, dedicated to Olivia Jean, Annie Elizabeth, Charlotte Marie, and to all Coasty kids. I hope this story and the many stories to come will help you feel a little closer to your dad or mom when they are away serving and protecting this great nation. And I hope that these adventures of Onyx will teach you the same core values that the Coast Guard teaches us: honor, respect, and devotion to duty. So if you're a Coasty kid, this book is especially for you. Let's get started. Alright, and I'll show you the pictures after. One rainy evening, a homeless dog, lost and without a purpose, wandered onto the grounds of a Coast Guard station in St. Ignace, Michigan. She was looking for shelter from the cold rain. She walked to the docks, where a Coast Guard boat was tied up, and she found an open hatch. The wet dog climbed aboard and settled comfortably into the rescue compartment. There you go. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. The hair on the dog's neck raised up, and she looked around for the source of the sound. 4 people quickly came aboard. They were members of the United States Coast Guard. Dean, the lead coastie, told the other crew members about a freighter that was in trouble. An 800-foot freighter passing through the Straits of Mackinac has 2 injured crew members aboard, Dean said. A medical evacuation has been requested. Now take your positions. The other coasties agreed with a united, "Aye, aye." The boat launched into action. The siren sounded and the Coast Guard motorboat headed into Lake Huron with the dog still on board. Soon after, Hogan went into the compartment where the dog was hiding to get the emergency medical kit prepared. Seeing the man, the frightened dog backed further under the seat. As Hogan prepared the kit, an oxygen tank slipped from his hands and rolled next to the dog's paw. Hogan saw the dog and jumped back in surprise. "Where did you come from?" he asked. Just then, Evans entered the compartment and found Hogan with the dog. "Hogan," Evans said, "what is that dog doing on board?" "I don't know," Hogan said. "I found her hiding in here when I came to get our rescue equipment." "Well, secure that dog," Evans said, "and get ready. The freighter is closer than we thought. It's just off of the Mackinac Bridge, and we have an estimated arrival time of 10 minutes. Hogan petted the nervous dog and told her, "You stay here, girl. I'll be right back." Up on deck, Pelkey spotted the freighter. "There it is," she shouted, "starboard side." As the Coast Guard boat came alongside the freighter, Pelkey got on the radio. "Motor vessel, Pride of the Lakes. Motor vessel, Pride of the Lakes," Pelkey called to the freighter. "This is the United States Coast Guard. Prepare your injured crewmen for transfer." Dean yelled over the wind and rain to Evans and Hogan on the bow. "Here we go, gentlemen. By the book." The men aboard the freighter frantically prepared for the transfer. They slipped and slid on the deck as they strapped their injured shipmates into stretchers. Then they carefully lowered the first injured man from the freighter deck to the coasties waiting on the rescue boat below. Despite the wind and rain, the first transfer went smoothly. As the second injured crewman was being transferred, the boat was slammed by a powerful wave. The Coast Guard boat and the freighter crashed against each other violently. Just then, lightning flashed and thunder boomed. The startled men on the freighter accidentally dropped the stretcher, and the second injured man fell helplessly into the sea. "Man overboard!" Hogan yelled. "Prepare for a recovery!" Dean yelled back. Pelkey ran down to the main deck to prepare for a waterside pickup. Hogan and Evans quickly took the first injured crewman down below where he would be safer. "Now you stay here," Hogan said. "What about my shipmate?" the injured crew asked. "Don't worry, sir," Evans said. "We'll save him." Hogan and Evans quickly ran back outside. Inside the compartment, the dog watched and waited. She heard the man yell, "Oh no, he is strapped in and face down." The man suddenly saw the dog and made eye contact with her. Tears began to roll down the scared, worried, and injured crew member's face. He wanted to help, but he was helpless. "My shipmate is in trouble," he said to the dog. "My friend is in trouble." The dog watched it all. She saw the fear. She heard the screams. And then suddenly, something inside her ignited. It burned like a fire. A sensation she had never felt before washed over her. She felt a sense of greater purpose, a sense of servitude, a sense of something important and larger than herself. She knew what she needed to do. She was no longer a lost dog. She was a dog with a newfound purpose. The dog sprinted for the ladder. As the Coast Guard boat was approaching the injured man in the water, the dog saw the overturned stretcher. Seeing the dog on deck, Hogan yelled, "What are you doing out here, girl? Get back down below where it's safe." Just then, the dog let out a loud, confident bark and selflessly leapt into the heavy seas. With all of her might, she swam for the man. She swam as hard as she could. She swam until it burned her muscles. She swam through the howling wind and the cold sea. Fear did not stand in her way. A newfound bravery pushed her through. The coasties watched the dog swim on, only so another may live. The dog finally made it to the man in the heavy seas. The waves dunked the man's head up and down. He looked over and saw her. Cold and in shock, he yelled to her, "Help me, dog, please help me." The dog put her paws on the capsized stretcher and swam with all her might. She pushed and pushed and pushed until a miracle happened. The dog righted the stretcher, saving the man from trouble. The dog stayed with the man as the Coast Guard boat came alongside. The coasties quickly reached overboard and pulled the man and the dog on board. The exhausted dog could not even stand up. Pelkey and Evans quickly took the injured man down below, where his relieved shipmate was waiting. Hogan wrapped the dog in a blanket, picked her up in his arms, and headed to the back deck of the boat. He dropped to his knees and looked at the miracle dog that he held in his arms. "Ha!" Dean yelled from the driver's chair. "I don't know where that dog came from, but thank goodness for her." Hogan looked up at Dean. "Onyx," he told him. "Her name is Onyx. She's a guardian, like one of us." "I believe it," Dean said. The Coast Guard boat headed for the station. And back on deck, Pelkey dropped to her knees and started petting the wet dog. The station's been looking for a good morale dog. and this hero may be just what you're looking for. Hogan stood up, and Onyx stood beside him. The rain was letting out, and the seas were laying down. Hogan put a small orange life jacket on Onyx and adjusted the straps. Then he cut the excess strap off and put it around her neck, making a collar. There, he said. Perfect. Now you look like a true Coast Guard morale dog. Pelkey smiled and nodded her head, agreeing, as she headed up the ladder to the bridge to take her seat next to Dean. Dean nodded to Pelkey and said, Onyx, huh? I like that. Dean looked forward. The storm had passed, and the rising morning sun was breaking through the clouds. Fair winds and the following seas had come to the morning straits of Mackinac. All right, you guys, he yelled out, secure the deck. We're heading for home. Coming up. Dean put the throttles down and steered the Coast Guard boat for home, into the sunrise. It is a new day. It is a new day, or a new beginning, for today begins the adventures of Onyx and the Guardians of the Straits. And that's the end of the story. Now, like I said, this is the first of, I think there's several. I think there might even be like 6 more, and I have them all. So if you guys want, make sure you comment and ask me to do the other ones, because I can do them for you if you guys want. So just let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and thank you to Onyx for joining us. Have a good week, everyone.